He is. He was going to be late.
Pay for itself over there.
I feel seriously. Closed loop. Older than we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:01 by the clock on the wall. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we will open with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This morning's invocation, Commissioner Henschel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The 4th of July of this year, we mark 250 years of our country's heritage since its founding. And on that day, July 4th, we also had the passing of a past county commissioner, and I wanted to give a few words in a moment of silence in honor of Joe Muha, former county commissioner. He spent 10 terms on this board, long before my time, but he served as chairman, served in many roles. He was one of the visionaries that helped lead us to the Civic Center as it currently is. He was a proponent of public spaces towards the open space. I knew him through the Rotary Club of Traverse City, where we would eat lunch and talk politics once in a while. So if you would join me in a moment of silence for past County Commissioner Joe Muha. Thank you. And with that, I have a brief prayer to invoke our meeting this morning. God of our fathers, of generations yet unborn, as our nation marks 250 years, we give thanks for the many freedoms, sacrifices, and acts of service that have sustained it. We also recognize that the work of self-government is never finished. In divided times, remind us that public service is not chiefly about defeating one another, but about faithfully serving neighbors who may disagree. Keep us from pride, bitterness, and the temptation to treat political opponents as enemies. Give this country, this community, and this board unity where unity is possible, honest disagreement where disagreement is necessary, and mutual respect in all things. May the work done in this chamber strengthen confidence in representative government, and may we leave this country better than we received it. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Henschel. Mr. Gedman, when you are ready, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Andrews.
Here.
Commissioner Nelson. Commissioner Henschel.
I'm here.
Commissioner Spence. Commissioner Walter.
Here.
Commissioner Flynn.
Here.
Commissioner McAllister.
Here.
Commissioner Seifert.
Here. I'd like to let everyone know that Commissioner Nelson and Commissioner Spence are traveling today, and I wish them Godspeed and safe return. We're going to go to first public comment. When you're ready, Mr. Gedman, if you could read the rules, please.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provisions of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board may state his or her name and township or district, but providing a specific address is not recommended. Persons may address the board on matters or issues which are relevant and germane to county government as determined by the chair. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chair shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chair may at his discretion allow an additional opportunity or time to speak if determined germane and necessary to the discussion. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4 Order of Business. However, public comment may be received during the meeting when a specific agenda topic is scheduled for discussion by the board. Prior to the first public comment, the chair will indicate the topics on the agenda for which public comment will be accepted. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chair. The board shall not comment or respond to a person who is addressing the board. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board. Please be respectful and refrain from personal or political attacks.
Thank you, Mr. Gebman. So please come up to the podium. You don't have to raise your hand. Follow that young man. You get 3 minutes. Please state who you are and roughly where you live.
3 minutes. Good morning, Jesus Villa, Traverse City homeowner. I submitted a written comment yesterday, so I will try to be brief. Well, first of all, I saw the PDF of this trail mileage. You know, no property costs like $100,000. So, you know, the median here is 350, 400, whatever. So that's like misleading, like for me. Another thing. First of all, don't get me wrong. I love trails. I use them, me and my wife and everything, and I will support them as long as they are transparent, make sense, and they are fair for everyone. The PDF also says that 99% of the trail users will use them. But like, what about the the homeowners or taxpayers? Like, are the 99% are gonna use them? So no. So I think that I will not get into the PDF. How it's structured or whatever. But another thing is that, so for this mileage, you're asking for 2.6 million yearly. And in the PDF file, I cannot see any number that justifies that 2.6 million. You know, I mean, you talk about road maintenance, administration, land acquisition, et cetera, but there's not, unless you have like a new PDF, but I mean, there's no number. Like, how are you gonna justify 2.6 million? And like I told you, I use the trails, and I'm done for like funding or for everything. I saw last year 990 of the TARs. Road maintenance 600,000 each for road maintenance versus 2.6 million yearly they are asking. I saw they also have liabilities. I think that with sleeping bear dunes, land acquisition. So I will ask you just to be upfront, like, or you recalculate how much money or deficit, like the shortfall that you have for the maintenance or whatever, or be upfront, say, hey, you know, we are like in debt, we need you to help us like to pay more like debt or like to land acquisition, just to be like transparent. Like I think like me as a homeowner, I mean, you owe us that, at least to know like where this money goes, because like just a PDF, like with 5 bullet points, hey, we need money, we're gonna put a mileage, just pay this and that's it. You know, so it's kind of like it raises red flags for me. But I'm like, if you have like a transparent plan and everything, of course I will support that plan in mileage or whatever. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak at this time?
Good morning, Chair Seifert and Commissioners. Thank you for your service to the community and your time today. My name's Kate Redmond. I'm a county resident, and I'm here today just to briefly introduce the concept of the housing millage for your feedback and questions before bringing a full proposal to you on August 12th. I'm hoping today just to leave you with 4 simple points. The first is that housing is one of our community's biggest challenges, and the housing we need the most is the hardest to build. I know you don't need me to tell you that housing is a challenge. We all hear about it. We live it every day, and survey after survey tells us that. And we have made real progress in recent years, but almost all of the new housing that is built serves people earning over $31 per hour, or in kind of housing nerd speak, 80% of area median income. And that's what today's market can afford to build. That's what the math can work on with the tools that are available, like Pilot and TIF. And if that's all we want to build, the private market can do it. We don't need a millage. Excuse me. But we often hear that the housing that's being built is still not affordable for many people that we need in our community: our firefighters, our EMS workers, corrections workers, early childhood teachers, healthcare workers, retail and hospitality. These people are earning less than $31 an hour. Very hard for them to afford the housing that's being built. Second point, we do know how to build housing for these people. There are established state and federal programs that developers can leverage that build long-term affordability guarantees. The problem isn't that we lack solutions, it's that these programs require a dedicated local source of funding, And without that local funding, the money goes elsewhere. That's where the housing millage could come in. Third point, that's why the housing millage would be helpful. A dedicated local source of funding allows us to leverage at least $4 for every dollar we invest locally. It's a local solution to a local problem that lets us have local control over what we invest in. Fourth and final point, we're asking you to let the voters decide. We understand reasonable people can certainly disagree about whether a housing millage is right for our community. And we're not asking you to make that decision for our community. We're asking you to let the voters make that decision. At the end of the day, taxes are investments, and any investment has cost and benefits. The benefits here are allowing us to make meaningful progress on one of our community's most painful challenges, and to build housing that's difficult to build and we can't build without the millage. It also has benefits for our tax base stability, economic health, public health and safety. The list goes on, but there are also real costs. And we're asking you to let the voters decide for our community, are the costs worth the potential benefits? We look forward to your questions and feedback, and we'll see you again on August 12th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak at this time?
Good morning. Excuse me. My name is Jill Wilson. I am a Traverse City resident, a mother of 3, and I have the privilege of being the executive director of Norte Youth Cycling. I'm here today to express my strong support for placing the County Trails millage before voters this fall. We really have an opportunity and a responsibility to continue building a community that is connected, safe, and accessible. Investing in our trail system is an investment in health, mobility, and quality of life for all of our residents and those who visit our community. Well-maintained trails create opportunities for physical activity. They strengthen social connections and make it easier for people to move through our community. A connected community doesn't simply connect people to work, the grocery store, or a doctor's appointment. It connects them to Clinch Park, the Boardman Lake Loop, the Grand Traverse County Civic Center, schools, and places where people gather, children explore, and build relationships. At Norte, we engage and empower and educate over 4,000 riders of all ages and abilities every year. And I see firsthand the confidence, the independence, the connection, and joy that safe and accessible trails create for our community. Almost every rider in our program uses our trail system. They're going between our parks. They're connecting with our community. And the impact is really difficult to measure, but it is there, it is profound, and it is important. The County Trails millage will expand connectivity, ensure our trails are properly maintained, improve safety, and position Grand Traverse County to leverage additional state and federal funding opportunities. I have confidence in the oversight structure that has been created. I understand that there could be more questions wanted or more information from the community, but I feel that the structure that's been established at this point, I have confidence in it, and I look forward to learning more about it and how this millage will be leveraged in our community. And I just want to end with, last year I heard a public leader describe a community project as instrumental, not ornamental. And I keep replaying that that phrase in my head because it perfectly describes this opportunity. A county trails millage is an investment in a healthier, safer, more connected Grand Traverse County, and it is instrumental in moving our community forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, we're going to move right along. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to address that an item has changed on the
Which item is
packet we
that?
initially received. And I understand in politics there's always things, moving pieces, and I have no problem with the changes themselves. But the fact is we were not notified that something was removed. It is not on the agenda today. It is not on the paper out there, but it was on the agenda that we received an email last week, and we were not notified of its removal, and that's item 8A from that original. So I'd like everyone just make sure you got the right version of the agenda before we approve it. Item 8A was an update on Dental Clinics North It's no longer there. And there hasn't been a word about it.
On mine,
It's on the consent.
So it got moved?
no, I still see it under 8A.
Okay.
Update on dental clinics north.
So members of the audience that grabbed an agenda on the way in do not have that.
If you go to the calendar, Board of Commissioners, and
Yes.
click on today's meeting link, it is not there.
It was this morning, and now it's not.
No, it's not.
It's been changed. I just want to be clear, so we're transparent, and not trying to hide anything. But somebody missed a step in our procedures where we make sure everyone
In
knows.
mine, from the website, it's on the consent.
So maybe,
I can explain.
no, that's United, is that not United We Smile?
Go-
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
No, he's talking
Dental
about
clinics
dental
north.
clinics north. There's
That
Was
two.
was 8A, and now it's not.
Yeah, dental clinics,
No.
where is
I
it? Go ahead,
think the
Nate.
administrator wanted.
Have
So
at it, Nate.
if anyone was looking at an old version, the one we pass is the one that does not have an 8A. That's the latest.
So you are, I sent an email out this morning about United We Smile at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
That was removed. AA will be put back on because that is certainly a
An oversight.
oversight.
Wait.
So we do have an update?
You do have an update on dental clinics north.
Okay, and that was 8A.
That was,
So it should be under 8A? Okay, so,
let me correct that as we go.
okay.
So
Mr.
you're
Chair-
going to make a motion to include 8A?
Yes, I am. I wanted to get that cleared up.
Thank you.
But United We Smile is is being removed from consent?
Correct. A3 is gone, and 8A should be there, and it's the different.
I have both on what I'm looking at, so, as usual.
Yeah, so,
Um,
so the motion is to approve the agenda with the removal of A3, follow-up on United We Smile, and the addition or replacement of 8A, Dental Clinics North update.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All righty, we have a motion from Commissioner Henschel to approve the agenda as presented with the exceptions of the removal of A3, follow-up on United We Smile, and the inclusion of 8A, which is,
Dental Clinics North.
thank you, Dental Clinics Northwest update. Comments, questions, concerns? I'm sorry, it was seconded by Commissioner Morris, Mr. Gedman, my
Thank you so
apologies.
much.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Good catch, Commissioner Henschel. Thank you. All right, consent calendar. Oh, I got that sorted out.
All right. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not approved from the consent calendar, the action noted to receive and file or approve is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. All information identified on the consent calendar can be viewed in its entirety on the county's website. Items to receive. Item A1, the 13th Circuit Court's 2025 Annual Report. Item A2, the Department of Health and Human Services Pavilions Board May 2026 meeting minutes. Items for approval. Item B1, adoption of the Board of Commission meeting minutes, July 1, 2026. Item B2, rent waiver agreement, Grand Traverse County Commission on Aging, Area Agency on Aging of Northwest Michigan. Item B3, June 30th Building Authority meeting, Project Alpha, April-May progress report, and pay application. Item B4, Policy 100.9, Critical County Officials Leave Notification. Item B5, Merki Wireless Upgrade. Item B6, Recommendation to award request for proposal for Project Alpha 911 Technology Consulting. Item B7, RAP Grant Agreement for the Civic Center. Item B8, Evidence Property Room Surplus. Item B9, Gallagher Benefit Services, the pool.
All righty, would any commissioner like anything removed from consent calendar? Commissioner Andrews.
Yes, items B3 and B6, please.
Commissioner Henschel.
B9, please.
All righty. So take a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exceptions requested.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent calendar with the exceptions of B3, B6, and B9.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Henschel to approve the consent calendar as presented with the exceptions of B3, B6, and B9, seconded by Commissioner McAllister. Roll call vote when you're ready, Mr. Getman.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews,
Yes.
Commissioner Henschel,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter,
Yes.
Commissioner Flynn,
Yes.
Commissioner McAllister,
Yes.
Commissioner Seifert.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Moving along, we're going to go to special orders business. Mr. Alger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With us this morning is Pat Machin from Machin Engineering. Also, Bobby Poplinski, Finance Officer for Cunningham Limp, VP. Pat is ready to give you an update on his findings, some of his findings specific to Phase 3 of the governmental center rehab, so to speak. Good morning.
Rehab repairs. Hi, good
Rehab.
morning, Commissioners. Pat Machin, Machin Engineering. Back in front of you again here. At the request of the board, we have divulged and researched and combed together and pulled together an estimated cost of what it would be to do what we call priority number 3. We talked about earlier priority 1 and 2. Priority 1 and 2 are being taken care of right now as far as for plan and pretty soon be put out for bids. Priority 3 was the entire repair. This was something that was also had a dialogue with the Joint Buildings group here, and costs have been shared with them earlier in the month of June. And just here in front of you to present the report that we have of the total cost as outlined in a scope of work that we have for this to talk about the repair. So in a nutshell, we have a scope of work that's included in here and then a representative cost for that. We have also, we've completed our initial review of that. In addition, we reached out to 2 area contractors, general contracting firms, professional firms, to assist with that, basically in just giving real-world analysis of what we had already prepared as far as scope of work. So we've done that. Cunningham Limp was one of those firms, and we also reached out then to Spence Brothers on some items as well, too. So these costs, we feel very confident in these costs, take into account all of the work that we would end up proposing. Of course, nothing's been designed, so it's all just basic written documentation of what we anticipate would be required to repair this building and to bring it back up to its original glory from 1979. So just to say that. In a nutshell, in the end here in the report is a summary that we are recommending a consideration of costs just in general of anywhere from $6.75 million to $7.5 million. The costs are then summarized in a document that's behind here, and in addition, all of the scope items that we had outlaid in here. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have of anything in the package. I know that this was probably just sent to you here recently, but wanted to provide the board the latest update that we have.
Commissioner Henschel.
Thank you for your update. I guess the question in my mind is how much of these estimates are window dressings? How much are serious safety issues that need to be addressed?
So the serious safety issues are the things were in priority 1 and 2 that we had. So priority 3 would basically handle everything, okay? That would be actually removing major portions of the structure here that are along the foundation and then to the main floor on 3 different sides of the building, north, east, and west.
Okay.
So in addition to the major safety concerns, those are the things that we're being requested and being addressed. Now, designs are complete. That'll be going out to bid market for contractors. That's the beam repairs that are in the basement. That is the thing that we need to do right away.
So we're looking at, let's just use the number $7 million worth of repair work. How much of that is serious safety issues that really need to be addressed?
So I'll go to the end of my letter. We have, I'm going to say it's roughly 45% of that.
Okay.
And that's what I have in the last sentence, and I said that in the last sentence because I wanted that to be kind of the last memory of the report of 45% is roughly 50%. And what that is that fix the structure It also then provides safety of the occupants, safety of the public during construction, which is a big part of the repair of an active building.
And looking at today, in a time frame from today, at what point does this become urgent? Like, we're not going to be able to inhabit the building or portions of the building if we don't take action?
So in earlier statements, kind of go back to earlier statements
Yep.
I stated to the board, 3 to 5 years, we are recommending to enhance and to basically look forward and to probably look at doing this kind of work. So I say 3 to 5 years because 3 to 5 years always turns into 7. 3 to 5 years, it's just a window. It's a opportunity to be able to figure out what's going on with other work in the county, as well as if you don't end up doing something in 3 to 5 years, you want to consider this, and then that'll take probably a year or 2 years to probably fully implement.
Okay, if the County Board of Commissioners gave you all the budget you needed today, how long would it take until all those updates are on, fixed? And then at that point, what would be the useful life of the building?
I can only speak to this work, okay? There's other things I'm sure they're in consideration because of the age of the building. So if we end up doing this work, it increases the lifespan of exactly what we have right now. So the building was built, 1979? So I would consider that the same lifespan. Is that 35, 45 years?
Okay, so
Another 50
for
years?
$5 to $7 million range, we could add another 35 years to this building?
That would be for this particular stuff only. So
The structural.
structural, there's an electrical component to this that is also very important too. What we have in the basement is a primary power center, which typically goes on the exterior of a building. So that's a big part of this cost too. So when you talk about safety, that's one of the things too.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Walter?
Well, I always like to pull up the packet that the public sees, and is there a reason that nothing is in there from them? All it says is update and no link or information.
We cannot add things to the calendar. We got this letter after the agenda was set. Knowing that we would get this, I did send it to the Board of Commissioners, and it will be added after this meeting.
Okay, can we make sure to add that so people can read what he's
Yes.
sharing?
Yep.
Okay.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, so I think we understood when we approved options 1 and 2 a couple of months ago that we were buying ourselves a 3 to 5 year window, knowing that the fix, the actual root cause fix was TBD, and now we have that information. Generally, my understanding as next steps is this is something that this board will consider alongside, the city will also consider as we make facilities decisions going forward through the contract with Plant Moran Real Point from a bigger picture perspective. Is that a fair summary, both from structural engineering perspective and administration's perspective?
Yes, when we talked to Pat, this was bringing all the deficiencies that this building currently has, to include the electrical component, which is significant, up to today, but does not address any of the other issues with this building. It's specific to what Pat has identified. So to your point, the structure may be 35 years extended, but we are still not ADA compliant. We still have the same water system, same electrical system, same everything that goes with it. So there still are challenges.
So basically, this is for the board's information, and we think we'll hear from Plant Moran Real Point in August? Is that the general timeline, we think?
Potentially, that may be in September at this point. Plant Moran has been receiving these updates, so they're aware of what is occurring with the building, and that has changed their direction slightly, but yes.
And I guess to Commissioner Henschel's point, I think this is a really important piece of information that we would consider in making those decisions. It's, in and of itself, we cannot evaluate whether to do this right now, and I don't think we're being asked to. So I agree with you that it's a huge investment. Having an awesome structure and a leaking roof, doesn't solve some right? It doesn't solve the problems, but thank you, yep.
The only thing this board has approved is Phase 1, which is the firming up of the beams, and then Phase 2 is the re-waterproofing of the decking and surrounding components.
Correct.
Speaking of those, how are talks with the city going on cost sharing of those items?
There is a difference of opinion on what that looks like. We are still navigating that. We don't want to hold the process up with a discussion about is it 26% or half. We want to move forward with the project, and we'll continue to talk to them whether it's percentage of building occupancy or your co-tenant concept.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Lots
Thank
of
you.
wonderful things to think about there. Where'd he go?
He's here. Dan?
He's here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, Mr. Watkins, I missed you there. I couldn't see you in the back, so I think it's your turn, sir. I see a lovely packet that you brought us today.
Good morning. I just want to start out, I know a few meetings ago, Commissioner Lehman was down, and some questions had been asked if we'd looked at the South Airport corridor previously, and if we'd ever tried to reach out for funding. So I think it was when I first became manager, my first year there, we did go in 2024 for a raised grant. Unfortunately, we're denied for it, but there's some really good information here. I know this topic's come back up. I know we have people on the steering committee here, so I just wanted to share this with everybody. There's some really good information I think we can use moving forward as we look for some new options here, moving towards a final goal there. Along those same lines, I want to talk a little bit about, obviously we saw that, significant flooding, and that was really, quite worrisome what happened there at South Airport. So we've contracted with a company out of Grand Rapids that specializes in this. Their name's LRE, and what we're having them do is look at South Airport right now. What can we do as a temporary fix that could buy us, 5 to 10 years until we get this, long-term bridge plan going? What does that look like? Do we armor all along the side of there with like riprap and rock? Do we do concrete? So they're actually looking at that right now. We're hoping to have a proposal here yet this summer. The other thing we're having them take a look at is, we saw a Beitner Bridge fail, and that was a double tube system. If you go further up there, you run into Brown Bridge. The next one up, you have Scheck's Landing, and then you have Supply. So the ultimate goal will be to replace those with bridges, but what does that do hydraulically as we take out these, we took out the dams, Beitner Bridge, does the water levels raise? Do we put South Airport at more of a risk by doing that? There's new funding for bridges out there right now through, the state. They did the new road funding packages, and there's a specific one in there for bridges. So we'd like to take a look at Brown Bridge, Scheck's, and Supply, but we don't want to do something where we remove those first and cause, more of an issue at South Airport. So that's something we're currently working on. Along those same lines, Beitner Bridge, that's obviously been moving along well. There was talks at one point that they were going to try to move us back, because that is that Fed aid program where we're getting 80% paid. So MDOT's kind of in this driver's seat on this. And they were going to push us further back, and we're really trying to get this done. So I would just like to thank this board. I know you supported us in making sure we got that out in time. I'd also like to thank Representative Betsy Kofia. She wrote a very strong letter to them, and in a matter of 2 days, we were back on, and we got approved in July. So that was great news. They did award a winning company, and that's great news. That is Al-Anon for $3.7 million. So right now, we're to the stage of we've signed, MDOT signed. We're waiting on MDOT again. They have to do all the final, make sure the insurance is right, make sure they have it bonded, they're doing all their final checks, make sure they're everything. So we're pushing them again, saying, come on, it's not that big of a deal. They submitted all the paperwork, make sure they have their insurance, their bonding, and let's get going on this project. So we have had initial talks with that company, Al-Anon, and they're ready to go. They're come on, sign off. We want to go. We know you guys want to get this up and going before winter, so it's a really positive conversation. So we're hopeful. Definitely still working on that. A couple other interesting updates that I wanted to talk about recently. I've been invited to speak at a couple of conferences. The first one is in November, and it's in Mount Pleasant. And This is statewide, and they want to talk about how we responded during those historical snowstorms and also the flooding. The state took notice of what happened here in Grand Traverse County. I think that speaks to the county as a whole. They're very impressed, and they want us to come down there and speak of how we handled these situations. The second one is going to be up in the Sioux over the winter in communications. The state has taken notice of Grand Traverse County and how we handle our communications, so they've asked me to do a presentation of both of those. So I'm excited to be able to represent our county, go up there and do some presentations. They're hopeful that we can show the rest of the state kind of what we're doing and give some people some tips there. So very excited about that. Since I've been here last time, we do have a new engineer, our new countywide engineer. His name is Neil Galehouse. So this position has been open for quite a long. I think it was open for almost a year. We did have applicants, but part of when I became manager, I really wanted to build a strong team, find the right people, and we found that with Neil. He has a great background. I'm really excited. He comes with a significant experience in asset and extending life of the roads and different ideas. So I think he's going to be a great fit to our team, and we're excited to have that position finally filled here. That kind of rolls into the next thing that I wanted to talk about is I've been coming down for the last couple of years, and I've been talking about we did car counts and we did PCI, where we drove all the roads with almost kind of like that Google Maps, and we rated all the roads. And what I was trying to get to, and it's taken about 2 years here, it's quite the project, was actually creating a system. It's just so much for the human brain to comprehend. To take a system that actually can look at all of our road ratings, all of our traffic volumes, our available funding, local roads versus primary road requirements, motor transfer funding restrictions, there's tons of those, project costs. And what we did was we dumped this all into a system that can take a look at this. And what you can do is we can run a scenario in about a minute's time. You can change funding. You want to look at millage funding. If we had more millage, or as the state comes in, what does this do for our road system? You can generate a whole up to like 1 to 5 year plan. In the back of this one here, I have everybody for the RAISE grant. We've been working with Mayfield Township. They're really a proactive township in looking at their roads. They have a construction committee. They like to meet quite often. And this is just an example. We met with them recently of what it looks like. And if you see here on this first map here, you can see all the paved roads in there, and then you can see that right in there that has the rating of the road. Next to it has the car count, the year that it was done, 2025. If you flip to the next one there, what that does is it says, in talking to them, they wanted to spend, had maybe $300,000 to spend next year. So we'll look at, if you invested $300,000 a year and look at it at 5 years, within a minute, it generated, this is the best plan, what to do in Mayfield Township. Now we're taking this and we're amplifying that to the entire county, but you can see what this data does is it does a nice balance of, it can take a look at funding of where it should go of, preventative maintenance, long-term, and it does a nice balance of that funding amount you have. So it's really impressive. I'm very proud of it. It was a long goal and project to get to this point, so I'm very excited. This might look familiar to some of the commissioners. I know a few years ago you came up. I was the fleet and facilities manager at the time, and I did a presentation on our plow trucks, our pickups, our chainsaws, doing a whole asset management plan. This is that same idea, but it's just taken to roads and amplified quite a bit. So it took a while to get all the information, the infrastructure, and you can see this coming to play now. So super excited about that. I was going to talk also a little bit here. I usually don't have this many notes. I'm myself lost here. Talk a little bit about some of the projects we have out currently. Obviously, Frankie Road. I think that's a great project. Very excited to have that one out and going. Skagmog Point Road, Ramsey Road Bridge is going as well. So we are having 2 bridges built within the community this year. East Silver Lake and Hammond Road. Hammond Road we're ready to go on, but that one, East Bay Township is doing a Safe Schools, and they're putting a 10-foot pathway in there. Their funding is also tied up with Beitner Bridge funding. So we don't want to get going on Hammond Road right now because they're going to be doing that pathway at the same time. So we don't want to start paving a brand new road and then have them tear that up doing that path. So hopefully, again, the state approves Beitner, approves that pathway, and we can get going on Hammond Road as well here shortly. So that's all I had for today. As
Any
always,
que-
any questions? And
Mr. Watkins?
Mr. Watkins, can you explain how the road counts fit into the spreadsheet analysis, the traffic counts?
the traffic counts, it helps weight where are traffic volumes going on the roads. So you're looking at where people are traveling, and you're trying to, when you're looking at breaking down funding, that if you, and you can look at it individually townships, that what is my worst road with the highest car volumes on that? So you can start to take a look at that. Where are people traveling, and where do we need to identify first?
Yeah, no, I understand why traffic counts are important. My question is, how do they play into the analysis? How do they ensure prioritizing roads with higher road traffic counts in the
Yeah,
graph?
it's just a weighted average of the cars, the what's traveling down there.
I don't see it in the analysis.
Right, what we have here is just the roads that it's choosing based off that.
Excuse me.
I can, Wade Trim helped us design this whole software. If there's any deeper questions, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm answering your question correctly.
I guess I'm.
I can follow up with them.
How do we make sure that the roads that are in the worst condition and have the most number of cars driving down them are prioritized earlier? And I guess I guess I just don't see it. While I appreciate that the spreadsheet shows us what it would cost to bring everything up to code, it doesn't tell us how to prioritize the ones that are worst and have the highest traffic counts.
This is the list that it's telling you to do, right there. It already, it weighted them and it did it. It's saying, right there, you can see it's year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the roads that you should be doing based off of those counts.
Okay. And then, can you give us an update on Bluff? When are we going to see that reopen? Do we have an update?
Bluff Road was before I was even a manager. I didn't know that was still.
I thought there was a committee working on getting Bluff reopened.
The last update I had heard is that they did a survey on the peninsula and see if people actually wanted Bluff Road open. I know a lot of people liked it for biking, hiking. And the last thing that I'd heard is that they wanted it closed. They still liked it. That was the last direction I'd heard.
So just so I understand, your understanding is there's no effort underway to reopen Bluff Road because the residents of Peninsula Township don't want it open?
That was one of the instructions that I'd heard that came from that
Okay,
committee.
thanks. I can just validate that. I just need to make sure that that's the understanding.
Sure. And again, that's a local road. It requires a 50% match. I think all along, we've been willing to partner with that project. But it does take a township's 50% match.
So just to confirm, like the list that Vice Chair Andrews is referencing that you shared, it has to do with, basically triaging it based on traffic count and status of the road. But can you share, for everybody's benefit, how you then bring in the local match? Because my understanding is it might be high in that list, but if there's no local match, it's not necessarily going to get done before something else on that list. Is that how, can you
So-
share how that works?
Yeah, part of that, what's weighted is it looks at is primary roads, obviously, we can take care of. And then for local roads that we're trying to take care of, that's where luckily within the county, we have that millage. And we can start to use some of the millage money to put towards those. Now, there's the new neighborhood road funds that we can also use, so that's also a positive thing as well. So it weights that in there of what you have for funding. And what's nice about this is, I probably should explain this a little better. Say a township comes to you and says, we want to do this project. You put that in as a project, and then it recalculates it from there. Okay, for your remaining funds, this is what you should do.
Because if, let's say Peninsula, for example, since we're talking about it, if they said, yeah, we've got our matching funds, it would somehow,
You put
when
that
you
right
add
in.
it in there, it would then become more of a priority because the funding is there
It's not
too.
even a priority at that point. You put that in as, these are the funds, this is the project. It sees what you have less for funds, and it recalculates, and it gives you a whole new list. So you can choose projects as you want, and you can put them right in there. Or you can even say like, hey, we know we want to do funding here in 2 years, so in 2 years, I put in this road matching with the township. It's already dedicated, that project's done. Recalculates what you have left for funding and says, okay, based off this scenario, this is how you should do it now.
Mr. Watkins, do you know how much this county gathers in millage funds for road maintenance and improvement and creation?
Over the last few years, I want to say it's averaged between $5 and $6 million.
So if we had double that amount of money, you could make this go a little faster.
Definitely.
I
Yep.
mean,
But-
we do live in a county that has 6 million, hotel stays a year. At $5 a stay, that's $30 million. Probably do a lot for infrastructure.
You could do a ton for infrastructure with that.
Probably Bluff Road, too. Thank you, Mr. Watkins. It's
Thank you.
awesome. Good luck on your speeches.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's well deserved. We're going to move on to 6C. So we have a resolution here submitted by Commissioner Andrews. Though it was a group effort, but I'll let Commissioner Andrews take it.
Well, credit where credit is due. Commissioner Nelson drafted a starter resolution, and there was a small committee, reviewed it, made some additions and clarifications to the resolution. As the bottom line, on June 22nd, for context, on June 22nd, we met with the City Commission at the joint meeting. We were presented by the Housing and Homelessness Task Force with the work they had done to date, which took us through a set of recommendations. They requested that both boards pass a resolution to move into the development of an implementation plan for the recommendations that the task force developed. Our board was instrumental in ensuring that the task force was created in the first place. Our administrator was part of their leadership team. It seems to me, as a commissioner, and I think this is reflected on the board, that we've come this far and we deserve to go the next step and see what implementation looks like for this plan. I think it was, I don't want to speak for Commissioner Nelson, but it was important to Commissioner Nelson that we just ensure that by taking the next step to figure out what an implementation plan looks like, we are clear that we are not guaranteeing where the county sits in terms of the funding part of that. And so that was just spelled out clearly in the resolution. We can do both, right? We can direct our administrator to participate in the next step of developing an implementation plan, and we can reserve our opportunity to decide whether, what, and how we're going to fund the services and recommendations that come out. So this resolution, in my opinion, reflects a combination of both of those things, and I would support the board taking action and moving it forward.
Is that a motion or?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the resolution as presented.
Second.
Skip and I made the motion to adopt the resolution as presented, and I'm going to give it to Commissioner Walter. I think she's a little quicker than Commissioner Flynn on that. Comments, questions, or concerns?
Just to clarify, a group of us did kind of workshop this, and I'm happy with the compromises that were made. In essence, it's saying, yes, let's move forward, let's see an implementation plan, let's stay at the table, let's be a part of the solution. And I think the time frame is reasonable, given the glacial speed of government, so that by the end of the year, we will see an implementation plan. And if one can't be put together by then, at least that's the goal anyway, right?
All right.
Yep.
Glacial speed of government. I love it. I'm going to quote you. I'm going to quote that till it wears out. Any more comments, questions, or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank the team that worked on this and their diligence and research. It was a great effort. I appreciate that. And an extra special shout out, even though he's not here today, Mr. Nelson, because he was first in the gate saying, I have an idea, here we go. So I can appreciate that. He was willing to share with the rest of us his ideas and allow us to pick them apart a little bit. Good for him. Okay, 6D. Let's see, I'm going to guess that's probably, you're going to tee that up, aren't you, Mr. Elder?
Yes, good morning,
you.
Commissioners. With us today is the Director of TART, Julie Clark, to present to you the concept of a Trails Millage proposal. Along with her is Elizabeth Calcutt. Not sure if she's coming to the podium or not, but Julie, good morning.
Morning, thank you. Yeah, it's Elizabeth Calcutt is with me this morning, and we are delighted to be here to share the idea of a Grand Traverse County Trails Millage proposal. We are grateful for the opportunity to be in front of you today and talk about how this can benefit every resident in Grand Traverse County. So Chart Trails, our role, our mission is to bring trails to life. We are the nonprofit steward of over 100 miles of trails in the region. And for more than 30 years, we've partnered with the city, the county, townships, surrounding municipalities, and many community organizations to build and care for the trails people use every day. We've had the opportunity to work alongside many of you through the years to improve safety and expand transportation and recreation opportunities throughout the region. Today, I'm thrilled to be here to move forward an idea that's been talked about nearly as long as the trails have been around. Much of today's trail network is and was started by county leadership. If Commissioner Nelson would here, he would be able to talk a lot about that. Commissioners, county staff, the road commission, and community partners recognized the value of trails before they became one of Grand Traverse County's defining assets. These early leaders created the foundation we enjoy today, and that same partnership can shape what comes next. Trails have transformed Grand Traverse County. They improve our residents' physical and mental health, strengthen our local economy, attract and retain talent, support local businesses, and increase property values. What began as an investment in recreation has become an investment in our community's health, economy, and future. The numbers are compelling, but what matters most is maybe not easily measurable. Whether you're 8 or 80, everyone should feel comfortable and safe walking, biking, or rolling through Grand Traverse County. Well-maintained trails connect people to parks, schools, businesses, and each other, while helping everyone enjoy and protect the natural beauty that makes this place so special. There is a demonstrated interest and support from Grand Traverse County residents for trails. The Grand Traverse County Parks and Recreation Survey found 98% of county residents surveyed shared they are currently or want to participate in walking and hiking. 89% currently or want to participate in bicycling. And each of you represent a local unit of government with an approved Parks and Recreation plan that prioritizes trails and future trail connections. So today we're here to talk about how the county can help bring those plans to life. So what is the millage and what will it do? In surveys, most trail users assumed that there was already a dedicated public funding source for trails. The reality is there isn't, and that's the gap this proposal will help address. The countywide trails millage will be a dedicated and reliable funding source to support the development and long-term maintenance of a regional non-motorized trail system. The millage will leverage funds to support the maintenance of existing trails, development of new trail facilities, planning future projects, and replacing aging infrastructure. It supports acquisition and coordinating a long-term regional non-motorized trail program. So why now? This is about meeting the needs of today's residents while preparing for future generations. The trail network has grown because our community values safe, connected places to walk, bike, run, and roll. A county millage will build on that success so future generations can enjoy the same opportunities. So why the county? Regional, accountable, leveraged. Trails don't stop at political boundaries. To thrive, they require regional coordination, and the county is uniquely positioned to provide that leadership, ensure accountability, and leverage local dollars, state and federal, to attract more and more private investment. Where we see the best trails, like the Boardman Lake Loop and the Vasa Pathway, this is where the county has led and leveraged. The millage connects directly with the county's strategic plan goals around health, economic development, and quality of life. The proposal is a 10-year millage of .3 mils, generating approximately $2.6 million annually. The program would be governed by the County Board of Commissioners, guided by a Trails Advisory Council representing local units of government and regional partners, supported by a Trails Millage Coordinator. TART Trails is prepared and enthusiastic about supporting the county staff on the coordination and implementation of the Trails millage. The millage funding is part of a larger investment strategy into our public health infrastructure. A reliable, long-term funding source allows us to maintain what we've built, move priority projects forward, and provide meaningful local match needed to secure outside funding. Each year's priorities would be recommended through the advisory committee and approved by the county board. The millage funding allows projects to move forward from plans to realities. It supports known opportunities like planned road reconstructions, new trails and connections, safety improvements throughout the county, and helps support ideas that are just emerging. Examples could include the 5-mile road reconstruction, connecting the city and peninsula, constructing the 3-mile trail, advancing Interlochen Community Art Trail, the visions and plans in Blair, Peninsula, and Long Lake Townships, connecting in Kingsley, extending the Nequema Trailway in Acme, and replacing aging infrastructure like the TART Boardwalk. The millage just isn't about building trails, it's about caring for them. Dedicated maintenance funding ensures existing trails remain safe and reliable and supports more streamlined, effective coordination, in particular with our road and utility projects. When we tear up a road or make improvements for utilities, there's the possibility now of putting things back better, ensuring the most effective use of taxpayer dollars. Over the past 30 years, we've built an extraordinary trail network through partnership and persistence. Imagine what we could accomplish with a predictable, dedicated funding source. County leadership helped build this network, and county leadership can help sustain it. We respectfully ask for your support to place the .3 mil 10-year county trails millage on the November ballot for the voters to consider. This is an investment in the safety, health, economic vitality, and quality of life that makes Grand Traverse County such a remarkable place to live. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Wow. All righty then. Comments, questions, concerns, discussion? Motion?
That you had one, Lauren? Oh, I thought. Well, to get discussion started, I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
The resolution doesn't contain the ballot language, so we can't adopt it as presented.
So the recommendation that's here,
So, what,
This is the trail millage, specific proposed ballot language provided by,
there you go.
this language was in the June 17th board meeting during the presentation by TART. The only change since that date is the word proposed from draft or preliminary. So language that has to be
It's been vetted by Matt.
Yep, Cole Stokers has reviewed this. They have no concerns about the ballot language.
All right, so there we go. Go ahead.
There was a second. I don't think.
We have a motion, well, back to your point, there's no ballot language, there's the ballot language, so now we have a motion by Commissioner Walter to accept the ballot language in the resolution as presented.
I'll second.
We have a second with Commissioner Walters. I'm sorry, first by Commissioner Walters, second by Commissioner Morris. I didn't even have a donut yet, my goodness, I'm sorry, my
Maybe
apologies.
that's your problem.
Could be, could very well be. All right, so discussion, is there any discussion on this topic? Commissioner Henschel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's only one thing in the whole presentation I disagree with. I agree with everything about the community and the health of the community. And I think it's understated that the TART trails, you know, the acronym includes recreational trails, but the working poor use this to get to work. A lot of people who don't have cars are using these trails, and they're very important to a lot of people. But on the other hand, the one thing I disagree with is the method of funding. When we go to millages, you end up with 51% of the people wanting something and 100% paying for it. There's a lot of people in this county that don't use the trails. They're not connected to the trails. Their houses are far from the trails, and it's just not part of their life. And I don't think it's right to ask them to pay for something that a small number of people use. It is definitely a benefit to the community. I support the TART trails. Just for me personally, raising taxes is not the way to fund it.
Any more comments? Go ahead, Commissioner Andrews.
I've said it before, I don't believe a first-year tax, first-time millage should be for 10 years. I just don't. It's too long, and it denies the opportunity for voters to provide accountability on whether it's working. I think, in particular, a long, in my mind, mostly we've got 4- and 6-year millages. 10 years is longer than those. I don't know what the cutoff is, but 10 years is too long to both create a new tax and all the infrastructure that goes along with it, and not give voters a chance to make sure it's working, and frankly, not give us as a board and our subsequent elected board to make sure it's working right. This language becomes stuck almost for 10 years, and if there are deficiencies in it, we don't get a chance to tweak it and fix it and make sure it's being directed in the right ways. So I don't support a 10-year millage. If this motion were for a 6-year millage, I would be supporting it.
So are you proposing a friendly amendment to change it to 6 years?
If you would accept it, I would.
I'll accept a friendly amendment
That.
of 6 years.
So this is the proper method, this is the proper approach. Ms. Clark and I have talked about this, and we understand that this is what TART envisions. This is what TART believes is in the best interest for the millage proposal, is a 10-year millage, but we knew that there was a possibility that this would come up, and I think, Julie, do you want to have any comments?
Yeah, so I just want to say, definitely heard the 6-year, and why we came back with the 10 is based on a couple of different things. The first is the accountability is super important to us, and that's why this is the board where all questions go to and all approvals start and stop. So we did not feel the taxpayers would not have an opportunity, or you guys wouldn't have an opportunity to stay accountable there, because it is your millage and it will be going to this board and future boards. 10-year millages are common in trail and rec millages throughout the state. There is no dedicated funding source, unlike a road commission, for example, that has other public funding sources that are predictable and regular. There is not one for trails, and this size of infrastructure project, like I said in the June meeting, to get a trail on the ground in the best conditions takes about 10 years. So when we're building up a program and we're looking to leverage those federal and state resources, the funding cycles, the complexity of the program, and providing that reliable source so that townships that just have plans in place have the opportunity to build their CIPs with this funding, it just provides a predictable piece of revenue that they can start moving forward with and feel confident in. That being said, if it's 6 and that's what it takes to get it across the line, we're good with that, but we kept it at 10, not to be belligerent, but to be what we felt was most accountable to the taxpayers and the municipalities that have a bunch of plans on their books.
Any more comments?
I just want to share a couple things. One is that, you know, the estimated annual amount of 2.6+ million, right? is really somewhat of a drop in the bucket in terms of the ongoing projects across our region that have to do with trails and connectivity. And this is money that will help to leverage private funds, federal, state, all these grants that are out there. This helps to fill those gaps and to leverage the other stuff that's out there. This alone is not going to build trails, right? But because of the cost of everything going up every minute, this kind of sustainable funding that will come in for at least 6 years, I think is so important to the ability for an organization in our region to be able to plan long-term. We know this is funding you can count on. So, and that the other thing I'll share is I'll give you, Rob, like not everybody uses trails, but there's a lot of millages that not everybody uses those. Not everybody has a kid in school. It doesn't mean that the quality of our life and economy and everything that we hold dear around here isn't important enough to fund. And I'm fully in support of it, and am happy going longer, but I'm happy to compromise too to try to get it across the finish line here to the voters, right? Again, this is just the first step, and it's up to the voters to decide whether we want to tax ourselves for this. I'll tell you, every time I'm out on any kind of trail, I say, if you want to see happy people, go on a trail. Everybody out there is just enjoying themselves. So I encourage you, if you haven't been on a trail recently, to find one and find some happy people. So thank you for your work on this. It's really important.
I'll just also echo Commissioner Walter. I think, obviously, I represent a district that would benefit tremendously from support with trail, and I don't think it's a stretch to say that not only will the trail users who would benefit by going on the peninsula on a safer route benefit, but also the people who are not using the trails benefit when there are safe trails that get cars, that get bikes off the roads. It is a benefit to everyone, both those who are driving and using a road that's designed to be separate from non-motorized, as well as the people who choose instead to use the non-motorized. So I do think this is a millage that has a surprisingly wide benefit in our community. Nooks and crannies across the county will benefit from the interconnectedness of trails. So I appreciate the work you've done. Bring it forward.
Anybody else? All right.
Yeah,
Administrator.
Yes, so before we go forward, Mr. Nordford has a suggested amendment to the resolution saying, changing the resolved clause to say 6 years beginning 2027 through 2032, if that's amenable.
Is that right? Instead of right now, it says beginning in 2026?
One is budget year and one is
Right.
tax.
Tax year.
Right, so he's suggesting 2027 based on the tax year.
I think he's
Budget.
changing the 2036 to 2032 in the final resolve above this language. So if you look in the packet on page 16 of 18, where the resolution is, the resolution says, be it further resolved that, if approved, the voters of the revenues generated by the millage shall be used exclusively for recreation and transportation trail purposes, including but not limited to administration, acquisition, planning, engineering, maintenance, construction, replacement, and improvement of recreation and transport. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. The one before that. Beginning with the 2027 tax levy and continuing through the 2032 tax levy instead of 2036 tax levy.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because the one that's in front of us says when first levied in 2026.
Yep, so 26 it will be collected, and 27 I think it would be, well, I don't know. That's a fair question.
So Dean or Nate, the tax levy, the language, right, normally I'm not all
believe
this, but
your
we want to make sure this language is
Third
right.
paragraph is correct, but I would agree with the change made by our council on, it's for beginning in 27, and I think that's what Matt is saying. He's not changing the third paragraph.
Okay, just the second
one, beginning in
paragraph.
2027, ending in 2030.
It will be levied on, if the voters approve it this November, it would be levied on December 1st, so it's actually revenue for 2027.
9, 30, 31. 31 if we're going with when it's levied, but the budget year,
I believe what Matt provided is
But
correct.
the resolved clause says beginning with the 2027 tax levy. Does that happen in December of '26? Or does that happen in 2027?
Well, if it's levied,
It says levy in the resolution. 2027 tax levy.
not what I saw on the board.
If
Matt,
that-
is
so-
Matt
So
available?
what's on the board was the ballot language, which was not in the resolution, which frankly is a problem. We should have a resolution that includes the ballot language in it.
If Administrator Alger could read what Matt provided one more time.
Well,
Matt, are you there?
Matt's here, so
I'm here. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Matt.
Hey, Matt.
I'm not trying to change anything other than the duration, which is what I understand the amendment that's being considered as. And so I just want to be very specific because we are dealing with ballot language, that we're all on the same page with the ballot language, that this will be a 6-year period beginning, and this is what I understand the ballot language before you says, beginning with the 2027 tax levy and continuing through, it needs to say 2032 if it's going to be a 6-year.
But then how does that match up with the ballot language, which says beginning in 2026 and ending in what would be 2031? So is it 27 and 32 or 20 or 31 or 26 and 30?
Maybe 27 and 32.
So I need to see the ballot language. I'm looking at your packet. If somebody could send me what is currently before you for the ballot language, that would be appreciated.
yeah, I'm going to send it to you right now, Matt. You, in the email that, I'll just resend it to you.
I do know Tim reviewed this, Nate.
Yep.
It won't take long. Take a break after this.
If you know any. I can sing camp songs.
You should have both the resolution and the trails millage as proposed that Tim ultimately reviewed.
Well, while we're waiting for Mr. Nordford to adjust this and give us a recommendation, I don't think anybody in this room would deny the fact that our TART trail system is a big draw for people who come and visit here. And it's an infrastructure like our roads and everything else, our law enforcement, our jails. It is used by several million visitors a year. Again, this would be an easy thing to do if we had, oh, I don't know, a hotel tax. It would be an easy thing to cover, and we could even build new construction as well, and it wouldn't even be a blip on that. Now, having said that, I agree with Commissioner Henschel that 49% are going to pay for something that they're not going to use. No one in my district is going to use the TART trail in my district, because there won't be one, not in my lifetime. In addition to that, I also going to echo some of Commissioner Andrews' opinions that I think 10 years is too long. I think 6 years is too long. I would like to see it's like 6 years, we only serve 4-year terms. It's easy to be like, hey, did it work out? Did it not? I don't know. And then as we've seen this morning, things are complicated. Even just getting a ballot language on our teleprompter and having it approved by legal staff is an issue. So to say, hey, the people down the road, they'll be able to figure it all out, well, that's not for us to create chaos for them and just to dump it in their lap. I don't think it's appropriate. Because every day we see whole examples of expenditures from county commission boards from 10, 15, 20 years ago that we're still paying for today. I would like to see more like 2 or 3 years, as most of the initial millages in my experience have been, regardless of what they're funding when they first come about. And it's no shock, and this is not a shock to Ms. Clark or her staff, that I think taxation is theft. we sit about, I'm on the land bank. Every year, we talk about people that are being taxed out of their property. And I'm not talking about people that just own vacant lots and just let it go to hell. I'm talking about people that live on fixed incomes and they can't spend their $3,000 a year in Blair Township. Mr. Nordford, are you all set?
I am, thank you. These updated documents have 2026 tax levy continuing through 2025. So it'll need to be 6 years, beginning with 2026 tax levy and continuing through 2031 tax levy. It's both in the resolution and the ballot language.
I guess that's going to be part of a friendly amendment. Say yeah.
26 and
What was-
31.
26 and 31, Matt?
2026 to 2031.
All right. So now, if this fails at this level, they can still gather signatures to be on the ballot in the fall, correct?
I don't know timing wise on that, Chair. I'll have to look at that for you.
Oh, I don't think we're going to waste any more time. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the ballot language for 0.3 mils for 2026 to 2031. It was made by Commissioner Walter. Eventually, we got it all sorted out, and seconded by Commissioner Andrews.
Nope. Morris.
My apologies, Commissioner Morris. Ah, man, I need a
did
break.
Commissioner Morris accept the friendly?
I did,
amendment? Okay,
yes.
I didn't.
I do.
I didn't hear that. So,
I missed that as
I was
well, Commissioner
nodding.
Wall. Thank you.
and it's a roll call vote.
It is going to be a roll call vote. There's no more comments, questions, or concerns. Mr. Gedman, if you please.
Commissioner Andrews.
Yes.
Commissioner Henschel.
No.
Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Commissioner Flynn.
Yes.
Commissioner McAllister.
Yes.
Commissioner Seifert.
No.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
And Commissioner Seifert, so sorry. Got out of
That's
order
correct. I'm a no. So that sounds like it was 5-2 in favor.
there. Didn't mean to
it-
step on your no, I apologize.
That's all right.
Oh, we heard it. Don't
Everybody
worry.
wants to step on my no, Mr. Gedman. It's okay. Thank you for
Thank you for your
presentation.
patience and math, all the math.
Good luck to you. All right, seeing that we've muddled our ways through that, let's take a break for 10 or 15 minutes. All righty, we're going to call this meeting back to order. It's, well, I don't know, 10:43, or excuse me, 34, my apologies. And we are at the items pulled from the consent calendar, I believe, and we're going to start with B3. I think that was you, Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, thank you. So B3 is the Project Alpha payment, and I just have a couple of clarifying questions. First question, I guess, is a procedural question, which is, are we approving payment, or did the building authority already approve payment?
The building authority did approve the payment at our meeting, I think on June 30th was the date of that meeting. So yes, we did approve the payment,
So we don't need to approve it.
correct.
So it shouldn't be on approve, it should be on receive, right?
I would agree.
All right.
Okay, so that was one question.
And
Note for next
we
week.
did make the payment last Friday, so the payment has been made.
Okay, thank you. So that was my procedural question. Another note is that the packet only includes the second page of the minutes from the building authority meeting, not the first page. And probably helpful, and that's, that does say that it was approved to pay as opposed to recommend that the board approve to pay. So I just want to make sure we have the complete packet and that it goes under receive and file. Another question I have is about the Elmer's had a change order, and I didn't see any discussion about it in the minutes, and it was $125,000 as I understand it, and I was wondering if somebody could fill in what that was about. And it didn't show up in the Cunningham Limp change order as a change order, so I'm looking at page 35 of 37, which says application and certificate for payment, and it says change order number 1, $150,000 less $24,000, which came to $125,000 and some change. There's a little bit of discussion about it at the bottom of the next page. Change order number 1, decline gravel credit, and then sand instead of gravel. And I just couldn't follow the math, and I couldn't follow the analysis. Could someone just help us understand what happened there?
Mr. Poplinski, would you like to address that? Mr. Poplinski attends those meetings as well. They review these pay apps and ultimately provide information to the building authority surrounding the contents therein.
Hi, good morning. Bobby Peplinski on behalf of Cunningham Limp located in Traverse City. I can answer the question on the Team Elmer's change orders as well as looking forward into the next month. So the basis behind it was when we initially went to them to contract for their work, there was a discussion about the need of whether or not we needed to lay down gravel on the site. As part of the initial contract with them, we were contemplating that was a potential savings and buyout for that scope of work. The original plan was to have gravel. When we were then discussing, it was maybe we can just use sand infill instead of the gravel. As we then got out and we were performing the site work, the decision was being made that the gravel was going to be necessary as opposed to using the sand. The overall piece of it, though, is that it still fit within our original budget estimates for that line item. What we were hoping to create was generate savings and buyout of that line item by avoiding the necessary use of the gravel. And instead, we went back to instead of the sand infill. So still stayed within their overall budget line item, but it ate away at some of the hopeful buyout savings by reducing that scope of work. So the math of it, they originally had the negative amount in there to tie out to their original contract sum and the PO that we issued to them. So then it looks repetitive because they add the 150 back in to cancel out that credit. And then they do reduce out the 24,000 that they had to do the sand instead of the gravel.
And to repeat back to you, and what I think you're saying is that because the site work line item budget includes a lot of things and a lot of pieces, there's opportunity within that line item at the Cunningham Limp level to have no change order reflected, even though that if you drill down all the way to the bottom, there's a change order
Yes. So there's a change order in the budget with Team Elmer's with Cunningham Limp. It does not result in a change order to the county in any way. Does not change your budget. Our guaranteed maximum price stays unchanged. It stays within the original budget estimate for the site work amount that we were doing with Team Elmer's from the beginning.
Then my last question is just a administrative question. I understand that Darren McKenna is the architect who's there to help review, the board of, the building authority review these invoices. I was surprised, I went back and looked at the packet from that meeting. There was nothing in writing from Mr. McKenna. Is there anything where he's actually putting his name on the line that he reviewed these invoices and is sort of assuring their?
He does sign the pay app, basically saying that the work has been completed to that point per the pay application that's presented for payment. So I rely heavily on his signature affirming that that work has been completed. We do have, there were other questions that were asked, by one of the building authority members regarding some pretty specific items. So we do scrutinize that pay application. And Mr. Poplinski is able to field those questions. But the short answer is yes, he's approving that pay application for payment or authorizing that the work has been completed.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's a line on the AIAG 702 page where we're signing it as the contractor, and then we provide the notarization, and then under that, there's an amount certified line that the architect signs. So he's going to certify that, yes, the 200, I think that was 216,000, somewhere in that range. I certify 216,000 as was requested, and then they have to sign their name to it. It's part of the contract administration work that PIA is signed up to do. They have to sign and certify that before it goes to the board authority, or the building authority to approve.
Thank you. What was unclear to me was what role he had, since in the minutes it just says that he was there to answer questions and didn't reflect that prior to it even coming to that board, he had done a depth and put his name and pencil to paper so that he's got some accountability, hopefully, for that review. With that, I will make the motion that we receive and file the item B3.
Second.
And we would switch it from, I guess, B3 to A4 for the minutes purposes, or however you want to do that.
Sure. Commissioner Henschel.
I just wanted to double check with the administrator. Is there a reason this was under the B instead of the A side of the consent agenda? Were you looking for some sort of nod from the county board, or is this simply a receive and file that was in the wrong category?
It was intentionally put on B approvals. We, just from the way we constructed this arrangement with the building authority, we were told at that point in time that the board wanted to have heavy involvement in the process. So if we didn't have real clear guidance, should it be on receive and file after the building authority approved it, but we knew that the board wanted to see these apps. So we can put it under receive and file and leave it at that going forward, but questions like this could draw a conclusion that we don't like something or we want to change something, so whatever the board desires.
I don't think we, I mean,
Hold on,
well,
Commissioner Henschel.
It needs to be clear. Either we are approving something with a motion that says we're approving it, or we're receiving and filing something. This middle ground doesn't work.
Yeah.
I concur, and I'm going to let you go because I'm cutting you off. Well, I mean, we're not approving it, but we're receiving and file this information, and so it should be a receive and file. It shouldn't be approval because that's not our authority. Ours is oversight. It's they approved it. They have the authority to approve it, but it's there for us to be notified and to question later on. So I think moving forward, it should be under receive and not approvals. And I think it's a little misleading, and I'm glad we had this conversation here for the public as well as for ourselves. It leads itself to a
And if something is
good
on
resolution.
as a receive and file, the board can still take action and approve or disapprove something.
Absolutely.
Or give direction.
Absolutely correct. Commissioner Andrews, you want to add to that?
Nope.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Go ahead.
I just wanted to offer, as part of the receive side of things, we do also provide a project update on a monthly basis. If you would like, I would be happy to join on a monthly basis to provide updates of this. If you're fine with just receiving what the reports are, I can let it go that way, but if you would like, we can come and provide updates on the
I
project.
think putting them in the receive and file for us to ask questions would be great, if
Don't we
necessary.
already,
Well,
supposedly?
But whatever,
But, right. Go ahead, Commissioner Walter, you're not.
well, I was going to say, it sounds like they're not all there, or we're not
Sounds like-
maybe in a cadence yet. So we encourage you to submit them to be received and filed, and then it'll give us an opportunity to have anything clarified, or you just share with the public about, what's been going on. So, and I always appreciate your insights, and it always makes it much clearer to me. So it's always helpful having you here.
and I think from my understanding, the building authority got a nice update from you that was included in our packet. I think that is helpful that remain included with the minutes, with the actual documentation. And I think that gives us enough information, and if we have more questions, we'll pull it off.
Thank you for the offer. We look forward to it. So we have a motion to receive and file and change it to A4. Any more comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on to B6.
Yeah, thank you. I pulled this. This is the technology support to move the dispatch from the governmental center over to the new building. And I don't know if I understood it correctly, but when I clicked on the link and opened the recommendation or the proposals from Mission Critical, TSSI, and Federal Engineering, at least by my math, it looked like Mission Critical was the most expensive. It was $232,000, whereas I believe TSSI was $172 and FE was $75 to $100. So I'm just curious why we're going with not the lowest bid when I understood that that they all qualified.
Hi, Corey Licure, 911 Director, and there was, this is a bit of my incompetence. I had drafted a memo. I drafted 2 memos that I thought I included in your packet, explaining why we went with this vendor and why the numbers are a little bit different. They're not in your packet, and so I can run you through those. First of all, the project, the RFP was explicit in that it said that this is a consulting service on an as-needed basis. So in other words, the winning RFP would have to be somebody who agreed that we're not just cutting a check for the full amount. As their services are needed, the client, that's us, the county, would develop a scope of work that they would have to agree to, and then we would be invoiced just for that specific thing. So if we need them to evaluate an RFP, if we need them to help us direct a design for, let's say, the radio tower, it would just be that amount of work that we would have, and they would tell us how many hours ahead of time, and then they would bill us for it. So we're not going to get anywhere near the total amount of money. It could be that we only end up paying them $20,000. It depends on how things go as we develop this technology and design the technology we need in the new building. So MCP, Mission Critical Partners, was the only one to actually acknowledge that in an adequate way. And then when you look at the total number of hours that they would block out for us, they were actually second in their hourly rate. So if we are going by the grand total, yeah, they look like, but they're actually offering more hours at a lower rate.
I'm going to make the motion that we table this till we get that full memo.
Okay.
So we can, I mean, you've written it, we should lay our eyes on it and let us, there's too many, I can't keep up with the hourly rates in
I second.
real time. So
So to be clear, it's a motion to defer it to a future meeting.
Thank you. To defer this to a future meeting where we can get that the full packet, and it can go in consent. I'm sure it'll answer all the questions, but I think out of fairness, we should have that packet.
We have a motion by Commissioner Andrews to defer to a future meeting with a second by Commissioner Henschel. And as a comment, I agree with both of you fine folks. So, any more
Are we
comments?
good on your time frame? I mean, I just want to know you're still in a good place time-wise with this?
It's going to be crunch time, but I think we can hold off for a month. I think the next meeting is August 15th.
Well,
12th?
let's just say it's a while till our next meeting,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we'll just have to wait on it. I don't think that there's anything that's going to pause any of the construction that's there right now, but some of this stuff does take, 8 months for design and development and RFPs and all that kind of stuff. And so we're sneaking up on it, but I think we have time.
I would suggest that as soon as you can get the packet together, send it to us.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you. All right, if there's no more comments or questions or concerns, that was a great question, Commissioner Walter. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. All right, so we are now to B9. I think that was you, Commissioner Henschel.
All right, this is really simple. It's just that the resolution number is missing. I had no problem with the material, but we've got a big blank line on there, and the actual resolution I got, it says resolution number. That's it. So do we just remove number and just say resolution, or
Sure. I think that's
assign
an
it?
appropriate response. They're all ordered and numbered by resolution, so yes, we'll remove the numbered aspect of that resolution.
Okay, I guess for
I don't
clarity
have
for
it.
the public, when we do resolutions, are we keeping them ordered by number?
We are.
And do we typically add them after the fact? It seems like we would put it on before we present it to the board.
Well, it depends on if it's a proposed resolution like this, we should have had a number on it. But sometimes the board acts
Okay.
without any preface, so to speak, so we can order them by date and time of motion.
Okay, I move to approve item B9, resolution number to be assigned.
Yeah, there's other resolutions in the packet that don't have numbers either, so I'm assuming it.
As they're passed, they get assigned numbers.
Yeah.
Just for context, I usually put them in chronologically as they're passed in the meeting.
Okay,
So if something gets pulled and moved, it tends to change that. That's why we don't pre-number them.
okay.
Which is a fantastic idea. Thank you, Mr. Gebben, for that.
That's fine. I just was looking at the agenda, and it looked like somebody forgot to fill something in, so I just wanted to pull it and make sure we're doing things right. All right.
Too much
so-
cut and paste, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So I made a motion to approve resolution number to be assigned.
That's right. Commissioner Henschel made a move to
Second.
approve, and there was a second by Commissioner McAllister. Any more comments, questions, or concerns? We understand it'll be numerical as it's approved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. All righty. Let's see where we're at. We're now at 8A, departmental items. Is that you, Mr. Alger? It sure is.
So we have an update on Dental Clinics North. As you're aware, Mr. Leahy is here. I think it was about 10 days ago, we received notice from a constituent that they were concerned about, a commissioner received an email saying, why did the Board of Commissioners vote to disengage from the management agreement from Dental Clinics North? That commissioner responded appropriately, thank you very much. But it brought it to our attention. I spoke with Director Leahy, and he informed me that the Health Department Northwest was actually the entity that disengaged from the management agreement with Dental Clinics North. Mike has agreed to give you an update. There is something in your packet that's a basic narrative, but Mr. Leahy, could you please go through it?
Absolutely. Thank you. Mike Leahy, our Public Health Department. So timing is important. I've also gotten a few inquiries from our community
very recently around this. I think there was some information in the media that didn't clarify which boards, to Administrator's point. So as you walk into the Health Services Building on Lafreniere, you'll see a dental clinic on your left-hand side, and on that window there, you'll see Dental Clinics North. Dental Clinics North is a partnership. That's a nonprofit that works contractually with Health Department of Northwest Michigan. Their administrative offices are out of Charlevoix. They have been working together probably, I think it was 7 or 8 years. And over the last few years, they've been trying to navigate through some financial sustainability, budgetary items that ultimately the Health Department of Northwest health officer asked her Board of Health to approve dissolving the contract with Dental Clinics North so that Health Department Northwest can operate and manage more hands-on those 9 clinics that are located throughout the Northwest region of the state of Michigan. So Health Department Northwest owns all of the capital, the dental clinics, all of the equipment, manages the leases or the buildings if they own them, did manage a portion of the financials, while Dental Clinics North was that human capital management portion, did the staffing, and ultimately Health Department Northwest's Board of Health, I think it was their last meeting in June, approved a request to dissolve that contract effectively. So Health Department Northwest is now taking on all of the administrative portion of the staffing of the dental clinics. I spoke with the health officer at Health Department Northwest as recently as last week. I will see her again Friday of this week. I have no information in front of me that would suggest that any services are being adjusted at this time at any of the 9 clinics. I think dental services is something very much on our radar in regards to public health, access to. That's a very busy clinic. I'm just talking with our staff yesterday. We have a busy front door at HSB. I would say 45–50% of the folks walking in the door are seeking dental care. So with that, any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Leahy? Go ahead, Commissioner Walter.
Are we, since we talked about United We Smile earlier, are we going to have a discussion about that since it had been? I know it's not connected, but
Yep.
since we're talking about teeth and everything.
So United, we met with Heidi
Britton,
Britton
yep.
of Northwest Michigan Health Services yesterday. That is the FQHC that is part and parcel to receiving additional client information from clients that were served by United We Smile. They provided an update and informed Mike and I that the landscape has changed as recently as July 7th and July 9th, I believe
yeah.
the dates were, and they're starting to pivot from original plans. So that's why we asked to remove the item today, because what we had information on was changing actively. So this is a different topic, but United We Smile is still going to come back to this board with an update, and certainly we'll have that hopefully soon. But she could not produce certain information to us based on some acquisitions that they were looking at.
Okay, well, that's helpful.
But
Thank you.
Dental Clinics North, I think the question to Mike and I yesterday, specifically to Mike, was, well, who's going to provide the services for Dental Clinics North? Is it going to be Northwest Michigan, the Health Department Northwest,
Yep.
or is it going to be us? Is it going to be who?
It's going to be Health Department of Northwest Michigan. Dental services are really tricky to provide in a public service setting. I'm paying attention closely to that. And again, I meet with Shannon on Friday. We as health officers meet monthly. So if I get any more updates regarding access to dental services in this community, I'll bring them forward.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Director Leahy?
If you would like,
Health Networks
Northwest Michigan
Health Services, NMHS, yep.
did receive the $2.9 million allocation from the state of Michigan that was done by legislation through Representative Roth. That is there. they are, so that's what we do know, is that the money is not the issue. There are other issues that they're trying to address, specifically location and things like that. So they're working through some challenges, and hopefully we'll have more information for you soon.
Cool. So you're saying it did in the most recent budget, that
Yes.
was one of the allocations?
Yep.
But the money now has been allocated to NMHSI, Northwest Michigan Health Services. So the entity United We Smile
Is no longer.
is no longer.
Any more questions for Director Lahey or Mr. Alger? Thank you for your time. Anything to add?
We had an all-staff meeting yesterday, a lot of great feedback about, I think it was last Wednesday, the county event that we had. So prioritized by our board, put on by admin and I know county facilities. So thank you to this board. Great feedback from our staff about you prioritizing that time for staff and county admin and parks for all the work pulling it together. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'll do it under notices. Thank you for reminding me. So we're done with that. So unfinished business, new business, Commissioner Administration reports. I'm going to start the ball this time. So we initially had in here for the new gal from District Court with the opioid update about expenditures for testing and stuff like that. And the Vice Chair and myself had a meeting with judges and 86 District Court staff, and they talked about how that allocation of that expenditure of money is going. And it turns out, they couldn't be here today, and I told them that I'd give the report. It turns out that we kind of pigeonholed the opioid funds. So when we gave them the funding for testing, that it's also state funding that also pays for that testing, and they have to use the state funding first.
No, reverse.
Or it's the reverse.
They have to use our funding first.
Have to use our funding first, and so they are kind of caught in this quagmire with it. They're going to come back with a request to loosen up how to spend that money, the remaining funds of it. As you know, it takes forever. I believe it takes like 9 months or something for the state to pay, to reimburse them or pay them or something like that. So I'm sorry it's not as poignant as I wanted to be, or to the point, but they are expected to see them in August with a request to reallocate, to change the wording on that funding so it frees up the money so they can spend it. Is that pretty much
But
accurate?
if they had to spend our money first, why wasn't it spent?
They had other needs as well.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll just wait for
There's-
them to
yeah.
come. We have
They would
questions.
like to be able to use the state money for that, because the state money goes away if it doesn't get
Sure.
used for that. And it's a good question. They have spent some of it. I think they said they've spent about 14,000 of it, and they'll give us that accounting. But it does limit their ability to use state money, and would rather be able to use the state money so that they can stretch our dollars further, but.
They're coming up with a proposal for that for the next meeting.
Okay.
Until having seen, I started that.
So that's in August, we'll see that too?
That was what they said. So they're communicating with us, let us know. But,
Sounds good.
I'm just going to go right to my left. Commissioner Andrews, anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. Since we've been looking at our millage policy, it requires a meeting in August, I believe, every year for us to get a report from administration and with how the spending is going, what the dollars are in the millages, and then we have to affirmatively decide to reset the millage on an annual basis. That was part of that revised policy. It might have even been the old policy, but it specifically requires a meeting in August, and since that's coming up, I just wanted to make sure that that is on our radar so that we can fulfill those requirements for, I don't know, the 6 millages or so that we have.
It's got to be more than that. Can we reset it to 0? By the heavy sigh I just heard, I'm guessing not.
No, I think you can. I think there's some precedent for that in our region. So I just wanted to make sure that's on our radar, because that may take some time to get both the reports in and then on an agenda to go through all of those. The other thing I wanted to just notify people, since you didn't say it, I'll say it, the South Airport River Crossing Steering Committee met on Monday, this past Monday. They are hosting, I won't be there, on July 27th, the first advisory group meeting. So anyone that we were able to identify in the community and outside of the community that may have expertise or interest or specialized knowledge that would relate to rebuilding the crossing of South Airport Road over the Boardman-Ottaway River is invited to that meeting. If you would like to go, it's an informative meeting. It's going to be hosted, staff, Maxwell and Chris Forsyth are leading that discussion. July 27th, 5:30 p.m. at the Garfield Township Hall. If anybody listening for the public didn't get an invite and feels like they should be there, please reach out to Maxwell or Chris to get that invitation and to get that. I just want that out in the community.
But it's also a public meeting, so anybody can show up. And
It is, to my knowledge, it's a public meeting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Community engagement, public
Yeah.
meeting, advisory group.
Okay.
And the Board of Public Works Committee is meeting August 11th. We're finally going to do it.
Woo-hoo. You're doing it.
Commissioner Morris?
Okay, a couple of things. Number one, I have been harping on September the 10th, public hearing for Northern Lakes. And I'm looking at an email that says our MAC conference is 9th through 11th. I will be leaving the MAC conference to go to the public hearing, and anyone who would like to go with me may do so. So, having said that, I attended Long Lake Township's meeting last night, and at the end of a closed session, this statement was read. Having met with legal counsel, we are within our rights to own Twin Lakes Park. A federal judge has previously ruled in our favor. We believe we are being good stewards of the park, and we intend to be good stewards of the park. We have no intention to sell or otherwise give the park to any other entity. We intend to operate it as a park in perpetuity, making it available to all residents of Long Lake Township, residents of Grand Traverse County, and any others who wish to visit and use the park. Finally, we heard in public comment from the heirs of Judge Gilbert that they believe the township should own the park and that we are operating in a manner consistent with what Judge Gilbert intended. I'm the messenger.
Can you just clarify, that means they will not meet with the county and the prospective plaintiffs?
Well, I have no control over that, but that was not mentioned at all.
I did have a conversation with Supervisor Lemkool, and that was the indication.
You dropped off at the end. What'd you say?
That was the indication that they would not be meeting.
Very good. Commissioner Flynn?
I do not have anything to report at this time.
Commissioner McAllister?
Looks like our roundabout's just plugging right along.
Plugging being the operative word.
Yeah, so tentatively, hopefully, by July 20th, we'll be open east and west. We'll see how that all goes. But they're doing a good job. It looks great, so that's about it. We do have a new restaurant out in Interlaken called the Hammered Heifer, if you haven't been. It's very exciting. We're smashing burgers and cooking chicken.
So from what I understand, I mean, the waiting and traffic to get there is probably a precursor to waiting in line to get served.
Not a bad thing.
For its popularity. Commissioner Walter?
I just wanted to share next week, the 22nd. I know that the public has had interest in animal control as well as other things, but we are meeting again, and we are furthering conversation about an updated ordinance along with an eventual updated millage request, so working through that in our contract with Cherryland Humane Society. So that's next week, and I can't remember the time on that because we've got 3 meetings that morning. 10 o'clock maybe?
I think we're usually, the recruitment's usually 8:30.
8:30,
And so
10,
I think you
and
guys come to 10.
11:30?
I think we're 8:30, 10, and then.
Okay, so we're 10 o'clock, but it'll be on the website.
Well, indeed.
And policy review right after that, so.
Woohoo! Commissioner Henschel?
Another Cherry Festival is in the books for our community, a milestone Cherry Festival. It was a huge success. Still waiting to hear the after-action report with all the numbers, but I do want to give a shout out to all the volunteers. There are a lot of people in our community, they take their vacation from their work to come volunteer at the Traverse City Cherry Festival, National Cherry Festival, and just a shout out to those people, that they're very community-minded people, and also to the staff at the Cherry Capital Airport. The airport is one of the biggest sponsors of the Cherry Festival, helping the air show take place and happen, and also a lot of staff there are not allowed to take their vacation during that time because it's all hands on deck. So shout out to all the volunteers and staff that pitched in extra to make everything go.
Excellent. And I'm going to piggyback on that. I was, full disclosure, I was allowed to be a guest at a VIP table for the air show, and it's the amount of effort that's put on by the National Cherry Festival. And at the airport, I got a tour of the airport as well beforehand. Staff is amazing, and it was a fabulous thing. And typically, I avoid that downtown area like the plague, and I was so glad I got to be a guest there. And I'm going to come. You'll be hearing a proposal from me probably in August about how we can share some of that wonderful experience with some of our employees. Have a potential. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the experience there. Like, I'm going to personally, myself and one of my friends that was a guest, we're going to make sure we're in first in line to get one of the tables for next year. So, I mean, you can't express my gratitude enough, and just how, to Commissioner Henschel's point, the amount of work that people did to make things work, it was amazing. And it was great for the year, the 100th anniversary of that, the 250th birthday of our nation. Mr. Alger, I'm going to go to the right.
You should have received an email from Lisa this morning about MAC registration that is falling across the September 11th date. So from that perspective, MAC has reached out to us to inquire if we can do some type of ceremony during the 9/11 date. And I have reached out to the sheriff and asked that his color guard, honor guard be present to at least do some type of a presentation of colors. And I'm going to assume maybe somebody may want to address the 9/11 date through the opening speeches that could be presented by the chairman of the board or a designee. I want to echo what Director Leahy said. From last week to today, we have heard nothing but great things from our staff, thanking the Board of Commissioners for the recognition of their service and allowing them to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Cherry Festival, to include the picnic, which was really fabulous. Thank you for those that were able to attend. And the parade was packed with kids, it seemed, and thank God we doubled up on candy. Because I think we had about 25 pieces left, and that's the first for us. So,
I think we ran out.
No, Sam had a little bit left.
Oh.
To the end.
Sam was hoarding.
The sun was in my eye at the end, and I couldn't see where the end of the route was. But I did rectify that and go back and toss it at some children.
Well, to be fair to Mr. Gedman, I know a 13-year-old that took some of that because it's at home on my counter.
And a 14-year-old, too.
Hey, your tax seller's hard at work.
Yes, indeed.
Last night I sent you an email with a letter. Mr. Bird's departure on Monday the 13th required that we have an interim director, or interim emergency management coordinator. Brandon Perry, who is now the assistant, has been assigned that position. We have several candidates already in the queue for applications. That application period is not yet closed. So when we get to that point, we will have a committee to review those applicants and select a new emergency manager.
The board has a position on that committee, correct?
Certainly.
Well, and the reason I say that is because when there's a declaration of emergency, the chair or the vice chair or whomever that may be is king for the amount of that time in which we did that. And we were fortunate, Mr. Watkins, in that potential, that declaration allowed Mr. Watkins and the County Road Commission and others to spend money that normally they wouldn't have gotten to. So I think it's very important that the board have a piece of that process, if not two of us. But we can discuss that when you get your applicant pool.
Yep. That's all I have.
Mr. Bott?
Administrator Alger asked me to mention our bond rating. in the process of issuing bonds for the two buildings up on the Franier. We're required to do a bond rating. We worked with Standard & Poor's recently, and on Monday, we received our bond rating. We're rated AA positive, so no change in the rating, which is very good for us. You certainly don't want to downgrade in our bond rating, and that's after, adding the airport debt, because that's included in the overall analysis. So we were expecting a favorable rating. I work with Stephen Burke with MFCI and also Roger Sweats, our bond counsel, and then provide quite a bit of financial information, including our recently completed audit report, financial report. We will be selling those bonds on Tuesday. I believe that's the 22nd, next week, with the closing scheduled for August 12th. So that's all good news. The bonds will be approximately $29.1 million. We're anticipating that we'll receive a premium to bring us to a $30 million deposit into the construction fund for the Project Alpha building. So that was good news to receive on Monday of this week.
It is good news. Thank you.
Great news.
Yes, it is probably great news. Mr. Gedman, you got anything while you're over there?
Well, myself and my Chief Deputy Christine Coyle have been going out to various municipalities here in the county and doing precinct inspector training. The last couple of weeks, we've trained 311 election inspectors, very enthusiastic, community-minded folks. It's very gratifying to see, and we've got a lot of people who are returning year after year. So it's been successful thus far.
Fantastic. Great. Fantastic. Seeing nobody else, let's go to second public comment. The rules are the same as the first. Please just come up to the podium, state who you are, where you're from, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Halliday-Schmant. I'm the director of the Coalition to End Homelessness. And I just wanted to say thank you for both adopting the resolution today, for working on that resolution, and putting it sounds like a lot of thought went into that. So just wanted to express our gratitude and thanks for taking that issue and resolution very seriously. Also, thank you for the continuation of allowing us to work with Nate. We'll continue to do so. We're actually trying to convene the leadership team right now to try to get our, what we're going to do next in terms of implementation. So hopefully convening our leadership team in the next couple of weeks, and then you'll have an update around implementation after that. And then I also just wanted to emphasize, I do understand some of the language that was in there around funding, that adopting the resolution does not commit the county to any funding. I do want to be very clear, though, without funding, this won't happen. So I was pretty clear, I think, all throughout the past 19 months that we've been doing this, and in my presentation on the 22nd, that homelessness isn't going to be solved by the nonprofit sector alone. You'll get a lot of the same. This is kind of, we've been highly efficient and highly effective in our homeless response system and in the projects and programs that operate in our community to reduce and end homelessness. However, without more continued investment and resources, what you see is what you'll get. So we need more resources, or implementation is likely to not be super successful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak at this time? Second public comment.
Good afternoon. My name is Willard Killey, local resident, experienced 4.5 years of homelessness. Reported on this numerous occasions to many of the boards here as well. I'd like to advocate for love, since that's pretty much where we come from. But we talk about funding. Goodwill Industries, it's been a growing industry, whatever it is, since 2011 to 2023, their assets grew 209%. Safe Harbor's assets grew from 2014 to 2023, 2,149%. Their budgeting thing is showing about $500,000 Goodwill ends about $25 million a year is what they get on average. In 2011, they started with $9 million, then 12, and 2014, 2015, 15, 2017, 16, 2018, $15 million, 2020, $25 million. We're talking millions of dollars here. We're talking the average on their little, on the printout for the task force, there's the average 165 homeless people in Traverse City. So you got the Safe Harbor, it's got about, they say it's 90 grand a year is what their budget was, but it's showing $500,000. So you got 500 grand for that for Safe Harbor, and then you got Goodwill Industries, they claim is 165 people, and they got $25 million. And that, I mean, crazy numbers. And you can't end homelessness for 160 people? You know, the question is, how many of us are not content with being deceived? Because I've been on the receiving end of the Goodwill End Services. They talk a good picture, I'd say, with their wordsmiths, but they don't deliver. They say they provide housing, jobs, and food. They've changed their mission statements over the years. From Dan Burron to Cecil McNally. Cecil McNally's over now. He's the executive director of the pavilions. We've all heard about the nightmare of the pavilions. And then I've experienced the nightmare of the Goodwill Inn. But they've been around this city for 50 years. You can't end homelessness for 160 people. That seems to be a little bit ludicrous. And if you treat something that is ludicrous as if it's not, it will be. And then here it is. And then currently, I still see the same faces. No worry, no where. Don't seem to be have a problem with their little network that they're in, but they're all over the town. The solution is not being addressed as far as an applicable outcome is how I would try to put your attention to it. So in 2010, Cecil McNally's mission statement on the IRS tax form said the organization's mission is to help people overcome barriers to independence, which I can, many instances that doesn't seem to be the case. 2016, it was Goodwill Inn strengthens communities by enhancing the dignity and quality of life for people in need by overcoming barriers to opportunities through learning and the power of work. Where does this learning come in, the power of work? There is no work. I've worked when I was homeless, been thrown off of jobs, I've been stalked, they follow you around, it's very unique. But now the Dan Burron's in, they changed it to Goodwill strengthens communities, but now it's back to the old one. But we'll talk some more.
Thank you. What was your name, sir? I
Willard Killey.
Thank you. I want to make sure I give the quote justice. When you said something earlier, I wrote it down.
Okay.
I didn't catch your name. My apologies.
That's all right.
Thank you very much.
As I get more organized, we'll get more organized.
All right, very good. Any more comments, questions? Sorry, public comment. My apologies. Going once, going twice, third time's a charm. All right, so we have notices. Anybody have any notices they'd like to deliver? I'm guessing we don't. So if there's no any bad feelings about it, we're adjourned. No.